decades of scientific research has powerfully demonstrated how resilience is the key to success at work as well as satisfaction in life. It also will help to bolster our mental and physical well-being and is a key factor in how successful we are inside our relationships. So this is why I've been talking a whole lot about research lately. And I'm excited to introduce you to a video clip where I was a guest speaking on this very topic with Dr. Katie Raher, who is a teacher turned school psychologist who has created a program for our educators around impeccable self-care practices. We all know that the education system right now is in an unprecedented place. We're all gearing up for a school year that, man, we just don't know exactly what that's going to look like. So as a parent, right, that's challenging. It's definitely an adversity. And as an educator, probably even more so in figuring out and navigating new ways to support our kids and to also help to soothe and calm our kids and keeping themselves soothed and calm. And so if you're an educator, awesome, stay put because we've got some really great insights and tools for you. And I also want to say, if you're not an educator, don't check out. Stay right here because these tools and skills can be applied to anybody, any profession, any standing in life. And I think that you will find them super helpful as you navigate, because we continue to navigate this uncertain territory that we're in. So stick around, and I'd love to hear your feedback, your thoughts on the tools and the skills, especially if you try them on for size. And also would love to hear about some skills or tools that you're leveraging these days. And you can give me some feedback at tina@tinadodds.com. You can also check out my website if you're curious about more of the work that I do, tinadodds.com. And you can reach Katie at constantloveandlearning.com. Hope you enjoy.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the very first Inward Circle Assembly. I am so excited to have Tina Dodds here with us today. Tina has been a really important part of my own well-being journey, so you are in for a treat today. So let me first just introduce Tina. Tina helps working moms prevent burnout because too many are taking better care of everyone else, struggling to prioritize their time, and are overwhelmed by the weight of their responsibilities. So Tina helps them cut through the noise, connect with what matters most, and take action towards creating empowering, fulfilling, and sustainable lives. And I'm here to tell you that that is very true because of my own experiences. So thank you, Tina, for being here. And Tina is here to talk to us about resilience building today. So Tina, is there anything else, first of all, you want to tell us about you, and what else, and what would you like to tell us all about resilience building?
I think as far as me goes, and why resilience is so important for me, such an important thing to talk about, is because I myself have been through many trials and tribulations, and I would venture to guess that y'all have as well. That there have been adversities in your life, there have been things that have come up that maybe were expected and also unexpected. I myself have had many unexpected things come forward in my life, which have led to me really looking into what I could do to equip myself for the next hurdle that may come. And so I've been quite successful in doing that. And doing a lot of research around this particular topic so that I can help others in acquiring tools that help them not only bounce back, and this is what resilience is, right? I think when we think about resilience, we think about, our ability to bounce back from any kind of challenge or adversity. And really, to me, and I heard Tara Brach, who's a psychologist and a mindfulness and meditation guru to me anyways, how she describes it is that it's not just the bouncing back, right? But it's also about, doing so and growing in the process. Like you're actually more awesome, more incredible on the other side of whatever that adversity was than when you know, first entered into it. So it's waking up to more of the love within us, waking up to more of the awareness and the wisdom that's already inside us. And so that's why I'm so excited to be here with you. One, because you're one of my favorite people. You're amazing. And I'm so excited that you're offering this up to our community at this time, especially our teachers who are so worthy of all the love and support that's out there. But with this, you know, when we're talking about resilience, we're talking about, I think, teachers and in the classroom. I have family and I have friends that are teachers and educators. And man, you know, when I think about who impacts the lives of our future, you know, it's you all. It's so important that you know, that you can support yourself and that you can tap into the support that's available. And I've got this story, if I can share here, Katie.
Yeah.
You know, you know, I like the outdoors, love camping. You know, so a couple of years ago, I'm camping with some friends of ours who don't camp much. Right? I camp in Tahoe like every year. That's like a thing that my family does together. So we're camping, and every year we come across bears. It's just a given. Like, we're on their turf, right? So we're camping, and we hear the story about this mama bear and her cubs are kind of on the scene, that's a big deal to have a mama bear and babies, because they're a lot more, they can be more aggressive or more protective. Anyhow, so we're saying we just finished up this dinner. We're sitting down, it's pitch black everywhere, and our campsite's nestled up into the hillside where it's really, really dark, actually. So we're about to play cards, and we hear all this screaming, and we're like, oh my God, what is happening? And pots banging and horns blowing, and we hear like, it's coming your way, like, look out, like danger, like everywhere there's like flashing signs of danger. And then we look up, and sure enough, down the hillside comes this mama bear. And she's literally like, I don't know, a stone's throw away from our table, like just cruising down. So what do? Instinctively, I stand up, I put my hands up, and I'm like, we don't want any trouble, you know, like backing up, like, we don't want any trouble, you're good, we're gonna back up now. I'm like, everybody get up, you know, leading this charge, back up, we're cool. And you know, what's funny is I know this, that bears are just gonna come down, you know what I mean? And they're not there to attack us. But everybody around me is freaking out. So I almost like I buy into the fact that I should be really scared out of my mind. And I start to kind of freak out with everybody else who's freaking out. So it was like this whole freak out was contagious. So now everybody's, you know, freaking out, and we can hear the bear, and it's snatched up my soft cooler and started eating it. We can hear her eating it up, and you know, she took it back behind our tents. And so again, everybody's kind of freaking out. And actually the couple that we were with, they left. They're like, all right, no, I can't do this. Like, we're gonna stay at a hotel. Peace. We'll see you tomorrow. You know, my husband are left, like, you know, both of us are going, all right, so that just happened. And we kind of freaked out for a second, but we know better. Like, it's not gonna mess with us. We're cool. But we did sit in the tent for a good probably 20 minutes after that whole ordeal with our two boys going, now, did they bring chocolate up in here? You know, did they fall asleep in the tent with chocolate or chapstick or something, thinking that there might be still imminent danger, right? This is our kind of residual fear. But anyway, you know, I share that because our fear, our response is contagious, whether that's fear or it's, you know, anything else. It could be calm as well. And that calm can be contagious. You know, so if I was just super even keel, and we do this for our kids, right? Come into a situation where just really super even keel. Like recently, again, we're in Tahoe. My youngest son and I fell out of the boat. We were whitewater rafting, class 1, but like not a huge deal. But we both hop out of the boat. He starts freaking out, and I'm like, we're cool, man. We're okay. And I grab him. We're kind of in some rapids, but it's the us being calm and that, rippling out that helps create an environment where everybody can do their best thinking. So I share all of that because today what I'm offering is resilience building skills in calming and focusing, right? So when we feel charged by something, either that's happening in our classroom or when we're in a meeting, and something is happening, and right now, again, I don't have to tell y'all, it's unprecedented times, right? And there is a lot of stuff that's coming forward that's new and it's uncertain, and we're having to navigate all of that, which can, again, activate us. We can feel all kinds of crazy feels. And before we know it, we could be totally overwhelmed, and we can't even take in the information that's available to us because we've gotten hijacked, by whatever it is that we're feeling. So I wanted to start just by sharing some of the traits of resilient people. So to kind of get an idea of what does a resilient person look like. And by the way, resilience, like there is no limit to how resilient you can be. It's like never ending. So it's not like when you go to the gym and you work out and you only have so much capacity, right? Like you can only reach to a particular level and then you stop there, right? Like you only become so strong and then you probably peak out, right? Resilience is not like that. Resilience is you could just acquire more and more and more and more. The more you practice, the more skills that you have. So that's the really cool thing about resilience. And when we talk about resilient people, some people that come to mind for me are like J.K. Rowling, like the author of the series, was it the Harry Potter series, right? And her story, and Oprah Winfrey, and Nelson Mandela, and Mahatma Gandhi, and like all of these, Jim Carrey even, like there's all these people who have overcome what would be considered like insurmountable odds, like in the face of just crazy circumstances, people thrive. And what's so cool about that is like, they're famous, we're not famous, but we can also do the same. We could also thrive in really challenging, difficult situations. So talking about some qualities, right, or attributes of resilient people. And one of those is they practice self-care, which is what this is all about, right? So we're already on it. We're already ahead of the game here by you actually even just registering for this program and being aware and mindful of that. Resilient people, they practice self-care, and they know what they need, and they are able to provide it for themselves and not necessarily depend on everybody else, but actually be able to identify it and provide it for themselves. They understand that stressful situations don't define them. That this is happening and it's not going to be forever, and that it doesn't say anything or mean anything about who I am as a person. Another attribute is they're compassionate. They're compassionate to themselves. They're compassionate to other people. They suspend judgment, right? They have empathy. All of those things, again, help to it's one of the attributes of a resilient person. Just a couple more. They know when to ask for help. And so one of the very cool things I think about this program, Katie, that you're offering is you've got this Facebook group and you're building a community where people can actually reach out. They can be vulnerable. They can start, extending their hand for like, hey, I might need some help with this. Like if you've got a situation that you're moving through and you're thinking about solutions, and then maybe you get stuck, that you have Katie as a coach and as a resource, but then also you have other people who are your peers, who are shoulder to shoulder, who might have some insights for you, and you can ask and reach out for that support and that help. And then just a couple more things are so positive support circles, and then also they're grateful. They're expressing gratitude on the daily. Like maybe you wake up and you're like, I am grateful for this roof over my house. I am grateful for the job that I have. I'm grateful that I get to support like these amazing, I have an impact on the future. So that can be so powerful. So all of those are traits of resilient people. So I'm imagining if you're on here and you're going, yeah, got that. Ooh, we need to work on that. This is all just great awareness. right? If you feel like, oh, I have room to grow in these areas, it's so great to even just start there with the awareness. So talking about focusing and why this is important, I think with the women that I'm serving and have been serving specifically through shelter in place, because there's some different things that have come forward. I even had clients who like shifted their focus. Like, I came to you because I wanted help with this piece, and now the shelter in place is happening. I'm actually like pivoting, and now I need help with this other thing, which is great. But one of the things that tends to come forward has been a challenge in focusing our attention, because there's so much going on, right? And part of the thing that pulls us out of our focus is like intrusive thoughts. Like, we get interrupted by our own thoughts. Like, we're sitting in a meeting. I mean, think about if you're on a Zoom meeting, right? Like, how long does it take you to become distracted? You know what I mean? To have some kind of thought come up. Is it like 1 minute? Is it 2 minutes? Is it 10 minutes? Because
on the day.
I would be real. Like, probably like in 2 minutes, you could be distracted by something like, oh crap, I need to fill that form out. And oh my God, I need to, you know what I mean? Or you're sitting down to do a lesson plan, like, 5 minutes into it, all of a sudden your thought process is hijacked by some other thought about something else. Oh my God, did I do this? Did I, oh, what about that thought? Did it? And then now you're having to try to reroute yourself back to the thing that's in front of you. And this is a problem because as we're interrupted throughout the day by our own intrusive thoughts, we're losing, it's a time suck. We're losing major time. So a lot of the women that I've been supporting, one of their biggest problems or challenges is like, the day is so long. They're like, I feel like I'm not making progress on any one thing. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just kind of running circles. I thought I was doing this. And then if you're a parent, you have kids at home, then they're interrupted. You know what I mean? So just when you get your focus, then your kids walk through the door and they need your attention for something else. So it's challenging to complete any one thing. So it feels like you're never getting anything done. And then you're freaking exhausted by the end of the day. And you're like, what do I have to show for it? What got done? I feel like I haven't completed anything, which is so frustrating. And the other thing about these intrusive thoughts is that they are most often negative. It's stuff that we're ruminating about, or stuff that is coming forward that's kind of that are buzzkills. So then our mood starts to tank too. So talk about like, now I'm thinking about this and I can't focus, and now that's making it's like a total buzzkill for my mood. And so what can we do about that? Right? This is actually a resilience building skill, because if you can catch yourself in that getting distracted and bring yourself back swiftly, then you're not wasting time, right? You're then able to focus more of your attention, and you're able to recover from that, and hopefully get something done and feel more accomplished and productive. So I'm going to pause myself and just think about something for a second. So one of the things that you can do when we think about, focusing our attention is it's almost like a healthy distraction. Like when we think about ways that we can bring more, peace or ease or calm to ourselves, sometimes we think about like, well, if I just go for a run, and then come back, I'll be cool. Or if I could just do X, Y, and Z, that are bigger things that distracts us, but then hopefully we come back feeling more calm. That might take a whole lot of time, and also doesn't necessarily solve our problem or our root problem. So let's just talk about quickly something that's really easy, less than 2 minutes. Again, it needs to be really easy, and also has to be something that's fun, because then that's going to help you shift out of that mood, right? That whatever that gnarly mood might be that's coming on. So one of the things that you can do with these games are called mental games. is, and these kind of sound silly, but they really work. So just I ask for your open mind here. One of my favorites is song lyrics. Like when you feel yourself hijacked by that intrusive thought, right? Like you're acknowledging, okay, there it is. And then you can start thinking about some song lyrics. And I'm not talking about your like, my brain sometimes goes to like that really, sad, soulful country song. You don't want to be hitting that up. You also don't want to be hitting up like a real emo 80s pop song either. You want to be thinking about something that's light, that's fun. So if you can think about, some song lyrics from some song that makes you, feel uplifted, then you start reciting those for less than 2 minutes. And then go right back to what it is that you were doing. You know what I mean? And then you're able to focus your attention again on what's in front of you. You're swiftly able to come back. Another thing that you can do is think about categories. You know what this reminds me of too, now that I'm saying this out loud, is when you're in the car with your kids and you're trying to keep them occupied, and you're like, let's look for all the white cars, or let's look for, license plates, or blah, blah, blah. Like it's kind of like that. And so in thinking of categories like 80s movies, or beaches or state parks, or flowers, anything that you can think of that you could categorize, and then just start naming them off. And that could be like 1 minute, again, 1 minute, 2 minutes, and then bring your attention back to what's in front of you. And again, that could be you just sitting in a meeting and then thinking about that for a little bit, and then, oh, okay, I'm back. Now I can focus. 3, like another one would be rhyming. Just rhyming. Cat, hat, bat, sat, you know what I mean? On for a few words, and then again coming back to what's in front of you. And the last thing that I think of is like poems, or maybe like famous quotes or things like that. Like I really get off on inspirational quotes. Will hear something and I'm like constantly in my phone, like writing stuff down, because when I reread it, I feel inspired, or I feel connected to, something positive and uplifting. So you could even just have some quotes handy, or start to think about, what are your favorite quotes, or reciting your favorite poem. Again, real easy, 2 minutes, it's fun, it's uplifting, and then you can bring your attention back to what it is that you're working on.
I just want to say real quick, I love that not only can this, I think, easily help us just for like a 2 minute of your hour, so that you like actually get way more time back for the rest of your hour. So it's not like a time suck that other time where you're distracted the whole time, but these are also tools we can use with students. Like these are tools we can teach them. Like when you're feeling, trouble with focus, like let's, it's the same. We do like kind of brain breaks and things like that with kids, but we don't often practice that ourselves. Or if we do, like I think even with the brain breaks, this is just giving us a bigger repertoire for what we can use with them. So this is just so great because it's applying on both ends. And I think also then like when we also use it with our students, we get the break, and in terms of like we're actually doing it, and we get the benefits of their increased calm too, and their increased focus, which is just like all around, like it's great ripple effects. So it's, and while I'm thinking too, like we could get creative in what we do with our students in a way that it doesn't just have to be a little kid song. Like we could do, a kid appropriate pump me up, my kind of song, we could infuse it in a way that still brought that resilience to both sides of the equation. So I love all these different ideas.
I love that you say that too. I volunteer, at our elementary school. One of my sons is going into 5th grade, and we do a Harvest of the Month program, and I lead that program. And at the beginning of every lesson, I'll turn on some music, and I'll have kids like shout out a dance move, and then we'll do a dance, you know what I mean? Just to kind of get wiggles out and things, but songs, you know what I mean? Like reciting song lyrics for something that they love. I mean, that is a hit every time. And I got to tell you, their focus, I love that you bring this up because I didn't even think about this, but their focus is so there. Once we do that, then we sit down, then they're like, okay. Like, you get me. like we're having a moment here, and now we're focusing our energy as what's in, focused on what's in front of us, which is so cool. So I love that it works great for both the teacher and the student. Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so those were for for focusing, right, our attention, refocusing our attention. And the other piece here is calming, right? So again, if we're in a meeting or we have an interaction with a parent or a student, or shoot, if speaking from my own personal experience with my own kids or my husband or a friend, where we're in conversation or something is happening where we start to begin to feel a strong emotion. Maybe that's, anger, or maybe that's, sadness or shame or whatever it might be. Something that comes forward for me, somebody who I love, who I've had a relationship with for over 25 years. We've been talking a lot about social injustice. And what came forward was we don't have the same opinions. There's overlap, but in one particular conversation, they said something that really activated me and that I didn't realize they believed. So in the moment, they're sharing this thing with me, and I was like, wait, what? Like, wait, what? And in that moment, as they're sharing that, so much was going through my head. One of which was like, I'm angry that you said this thing because I don't believe that thing. And also I started jumping to conclusions like, well, what kind of person is this person? If they believe this, then now I'm thinking, you know what I mean? Like all kinds of, I'm thinking about stuff in the past. I'm thinking about, so what is our relationship really? And is it what I thought it was? And all of these things. And we can get consumed by that. And then we effectively, it's almost like we're not listening anymore. And we're also not taking in any information. It's like our thinking process shuts down. Like we can't do our best thinking when we're kind of in that place of activation, or, when we're feeling intense emotion. And so it can be so critical to pause and to have some tools, some really easy tools to help us connect with calm. So that then we can, again, open our ears, receive information, and also consider our biases. You know what I mean? Like now I'm taking things in through a particular filter, and maybe I can actually have more perspective on what's unfolding in front of me, right? And think bigger instead of like so narrowly or through one particular lens. And so for this, in the moment when we're feeling, it might be like overwhelmed with that emotion, one, just stopping and breathing. and you'll be talking, I know, about self-compassion here as the program progresses, but taking a moment of like, oh my God, I feel really angry right now, or just identifying whatever is there for you. Or like, I feel so overwhelmed, right? Like my head is spinning. So that being kind of the first step, maybe taking a few breaths, but then connecting in with like one of the following, maybe like 3 practices. And one of those is visualizing, like in the moment, and maybe even you're in a meeting and it wasn't an interaction, but you're able to walk away, from that, or as you're sitting down, you're not presenting, as you're sitting down, you can begin to call forward in your brain or in your mind's eye a scene that's relaxing. So is there a special place that you like to vacation? Is there a setting that that immediately brings almost like a sigh of relief to you? And to be able to paint that picture in your brain and kind of set yourself in that scene. Because our bodies don't know the difference between us actually being in that scene and us just painting the picture, in our mind. So we can actually help to calm ourselves down by just conjuring up a vision of what that is. Or I know, Katie, you've mentioned before, like even just looking at videos of nature or pictures of nature can help to bring on a sense of greater calm. And so that's one of the things that you can do, is to visualize, like to create that in your mind. And you can do that with your eyes open. But it might be helpful to do that with it closed, maybe in the beginning, to kind of tap into what that looks like and to create as much detail and richness as you can. I also activate, I try to pull in all of my senses. So like your touch, your scent, what it might taste like, all of those things. What does it look like? What does it feel like? So trying to tap into all of those, but that can be tremendously helpful. But the other two, again, on the fly, I think I mentioned it first, was just the breathing, like just connecting in with your breathing and focusing in on nice deep inhalations, and then also really slow exhalations. So we're activating the parasympathetic nervous system, and your heart starts to slow, and you can actually start to feel the weight of gravity on you. You feel a little bit more grounded and centered. But even doing some deep breathing, even if you had 15 or 20 seconds, can be tremendously impactful. I'm trying to think of my third one here. Oh, the last one is progressive muscle relaxation. I had to go into my brain and dig deep for that one. It's a progressive muscle relaxation, right? Where you're like tensing. If I'm showing you with my hands, like you're tensing and relaxing the muscles in your body. And that might be a little bit more challenging for folks to do, especially like on the fly. But if you were to do it outside of an instance of you feeling activated, if you just practice that at home before you go to bed or right when you wake up, eventually you'll get to a point where you can do kind of like the accelerated version of that, which is like, where am I feeling stressed most? Is it my neck? Is it my shoulders? Maybe it's in my hips, and I can squeeze those places where I feel the most tension and stress. If it's my shoulders, I can pull my shoulders up to my ears and then kind of relax, them. So it's the tensing and then the relaxation that can help to facilitate that sense of calm. So yeah, three quick things. It's breathing, visualization, and then progressive muscle relaxation to help you tap into that calm. And you may not be in a place where you can, respond from that place of calm, but at least your body is on the way there. And you can start again to tap back into doing your best thinking, which can be so critical and important when we're in meeting or any kind of relational situations where we're serving or showing up, in our lives.
I love all those. And I love that what you started off with, that it's like your example of this situation where you're having this conversation around social justice, because I think those are going to be such critical conversations. I think they've always been critical, but I think the good news is they've been highlighted, and we're going to have more of those conversations going forward, both with colleagues, but also these things might come up with students. And the more we can have that calm, the more we can engage in sort of that higher problem solving processing. Like, it's so important, because these are not easy conversations. These are, and this is not the only hard conversation we might have, but there's just so much of that. And when someone has a different opinion than us, if we want to help expand and help them grow too, and we're of course growing in the process, because we all are working through our own biases all the time. There's just, we're going to be, if we're coming at them with calm, they're going to be able to have more of an open heart to grow and make the progress we actually want them to make. So it's so vital that we have all this calmness. And I love that there's just like such, there's just quick, easy ways. I love visualization. I've not tried it in these like little moments though. So I'm super excited to try that in these, or even just like squeeze in and relaxing under the table during a meeting. Really easy to do on a Zoom call, right? You can just do it.
Real easy, yes. So how great was it to practice it on Zoom before we actually are in a room with all the people?
Yeah, so I love that. So so these are so many, I love that they're just like so many just quick, easy, tangible tools that all of these educators can use. And not just for themselves again, but also for their students. Like they can teach these. And so then it's just like, again, the ripple effect. So This is amazing. This has been amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I now just, in the interest of time, I want to just open it up to the participants who are here at the assembly and just see if there's any questions anyone has. Feel free to, if you have a question, feel free to unmute yourself or pop it in the chat. And I know that some folks were having some technical difficulties, so so we were just rolling with that. Lots of people were loving it, by the way. Comments about how great it was, and I agree. Yeah, see someone comments, this is great advice. Yes, awesome.
And I'll just say while you're waiting, and just cut me off if somebody is asking. You know, when we were talking about the conversation around social justice, and I know in my past, and sometimes it still comes forward, like as a growth edge, but in staying in those difficult conversations, like my knee jerk is to be like, forget you, I'm out of here, and want to get up and go. Like, I just want to get up and be out. You know what I mean? And that was the same with parenting too. If my child is experiencing really difficult emotion and they don't want my help, you know what I mean? And they don't want fixing, which is really not what we need to be doing anyways. But then I'm like, okay, I'm done. I'm gonna go over here now. and the calming practice has been so transformational in helping me as well as my clients stay.
Yeah.
Stay and do, and actually have the conversation. And what you share about, when you're calm, then the other person is also can be in a place of calm too. And when we're not showing up in that way, what can happen is they can get defensive, which is actually that first conversation with that friend. I said something that was a little bit biting because I was so like, what, and then they immediately got defensive. And then now we're almost like at a stalemate, right? We're kind of going back and forth, and now we're both defensive, and nothing productive can come of that. We actually had to set it down. We're like, we agree to disagree. Let's take a moment. And we left that conversation good, you know what I mean? But like kind of working out our own feelings. But we're able to come back and we continue to have conversations about it. And where we both agreed to be open to each other's perspectives and life experiences. And that, I think that's what you were sharing. Like, that's where the growth happens for everyone. Because we can't, we can't expand when we're so contracted. I know that probably sounds real, like, yeah, of course, but it is. It's like, if you're coming with a particular energy, it's like you're closed off to all the possibility. You know what I mean? And the possibility is a gift.
Yeah. Yes. No, I love that. So yeah. So thank you. No, there's just so many gems, and for anybody listening now and down in the video down the road, Tina's like a big bucket of truth bombs all the time for me, so I love it. So Tina, tell us if anybody wanted to stay connected with you. Even Tina's emails are just like, love getting her emails. Just truth bombs within those. But if people want to stay connected with you or learn more about, I know that, like, for instance, Tina has a book club I've been a part of, other things. What's the best way to stay in touch?
Yeah, so you could go to my website at tinadodds.com, and you can join my community where I will give you free life hacks and tools that you can use to avoid burnout and to build your resilience. And then you'll be abreast of all of the offerings that unfold in the rest of this year. So as Katie mentioned, I've got a book club and self-care experience that actually we're in the middle of this season that will launch the next season in September. And also am working on a resilience building course. So these pieces that I shared today are just a small piece. I'm kind of like trying to make it as digestible as possible of a bigger breadth of resilience building work. So if you're at all interested in that, again, you can sign up in my community, and you'll receive all of the information about that program that will be forthcoming.
Well, awesome. Well, thank you again for being here. And thank you for those of you who showed up, and thank you for those of you who watched down the road. So thank you very much. I hope you all have an awesome day. Thank you so much, Tina.
Thank you so much for having me, Katie. Thank you.
Yeah. Bye, everybody. And
Bye.
we got some thank yous in the comments, too. Thanks. Bye, everyone.
Bye.